Do you know anyone who was raised and or mentored by communists? And then don't deny that communist past. Do you have friends or acquaintances with Marxist, communist, or domestic terror ties? I don't think the guy had a chance of being anything but a communist. You kind of feel bad for him when you look at the family tree or the communist tree here. Here's his dad. Barack Obama's dad, you remember him from dreams from my father. In other words, the dreams that I got from my father. Well, who was he? If he's got dreams that Barack Obama is downloading, what were his dreams? There's a new report out now from the London Daily Mail. It's part of a 1959 study. The State Department was worried at the time that Kenyans studying in the United States, including Barack Obama's dad, had a reputation for being anti-American and anti-white. Wow. You would think, I mean, if George Romney was anti-Kenyan, you'd think we'd hear about that, don't you? The report added, the arrival here of these students, many of them in different academic caliber and ill-prepared for the venture, is likely to give rise to difficult problems. And they were more than right, more than they could possibly ever know. So his dad hates America and is anti-white. When his dad dies, Barack was young. But what about the other caretakers in his life? Where did he go? Well, Grandma and Grandpa, they look great and everything, and I'm sure they're very nice people, but they took Barack Obama to the Little Red Schoolhouse. It's red because it's a communist schoolhouse. That's why it was called the Little Red Schoolhouse. Mom was a communist and a radical. When she got her new husband, Lolo, Obama's stepfather, they moved to Jakarta. That's, I think, where he had dog. Apparently, Lolo wasn't radical enough, so Mom takes little Barack away because he's not communist enough and moves Barack back to Hawaii with the grandparents, where the grandfather decides, I got to find him a mentor, Frank Marshall Davis. Frank Marshall Davis just happens to be a communist. I mean, what are the odds? Again, don't you feel a little uncomfortable? I mean, I feel bad for him, actually, because he didn't have a chance. When he goes back to college, who does he hang out with? Let Barack Obama say it for himself. Here he is.
To avoid being mistaken for such a sellout, I chose my friends carefully. The more politically active black students, the foreign students, the Chicanos, the Marxist professors and structural feminists and punk rock performance poets.
Okay. So the apple's not falling far from the tree. Of course, the tree doesn't have apples because they lived in a food desert. But anyway. As an adult, he finds Jesus. Okay, that's great. But who's he find it from? A guy who says Jesus is a black man and hates white man. And he also hates the Jews. Jesus does. He's a radical Marxist, anti-Semite, Reverend Jeremiah Wright. He defends him all the way, and when he can't take the heat anymore, and they finally say, just throw the guy under the bus, where does he turn for his spiritual advice? Another guy, Jim Wallis, another Marxist, a spiritual Marxist. Really? He meets in Chicago, but it's definitely not friends, with radical underground, Weather Underground member Bill Ayers, another Marxist, communist, radical revolutionary. Then he teaches school about this guy. He teaches in college Saul Alinsky, another radical communist that this guy understands, this guy understands, this guy understood, this guy understood. Really? When he goes to Congress, he is the farthest left out of everyone there. Even the self-described socialist Bernie Sanders, who I have respect for because at least he says what he is. He's farther left than the socialist. And then he goes on, as president, to appoint Van Jones, a communist. Well, he was. I haven't heard about his turning point. Valerie Jarrett, this is his best friend, Valerie Jarrett. Guess who her father was? Her father-in-law just happened to be a Chicago reporter, a communist, and a buddy of Frank Marshall Davis, the communist that Barack hung out with. This is the tie on how these two got together. By the way, we have a new book coming out called The Communist. It's not written by me. It's written by Paul Kengor. He's the author of Ronald Reagan, and he tells the story of Barack Obama's real mentor. It's critical that you understand who mentored him. Look for it this July. But I warn you, Obama is living in one big communist tree. I mean, he's like a communist Keebler elf, you know, that gives the cookies away for fairness and justice.